I wanted to see a different part of the country, and I wanted to see what the Midwest was like. And I thought Iowa sort of typified the Midwest, at least from a New York perspective. Amongst, like I heard it from my grandmother, I heard a lot that Iowa was the center of American values. I grew up in a Greek neighborhood. I always thought it was something different. It was like Greek people weren't white. I always asked my mom, like, am I white or am I Greek?
First time I met him, he rented a room at our place without actually ever looking at it, from New York, online. When he first showed up, he was drunk, and actually I heard from another person that he showed up at a house next to ours demanding to be let in and to live there, but they told him they had no idea who he was and that he didn't live there. So eventually, he finally stumbled his way into our house, and realizing that he was Paul Oleski, the person who was supposed to show up.
I'd be in my room, which was slightly up the steps from the main part of the apartment, and I'd hear people talking. And I'd go down, like, the sound familiar voices, and I'd find Paul and this complete stranger just sitting in the living room.
And this is me and Paul sitting here drinking vodka. All right.
There's been times where 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd have my window open because it's very hot in Iowa in summer and stuff, and all of a sudden Paul would just walk through the window with a bottle of vodka and be, hey, I've got a bottle of vodka. We want to drink the vodka. And I'd be, Paul, it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm not going to drink the vodka. Well, why not? Why not? Somebody comes in, has vodka for free. You got to drink the vodka. And I'd be like, Paul, it's 4:30 in the morning. I got class. I cannot drink any vodka.
Don't you understand?
What he did was he started just taking a chalk and just started drawing. He made a rainbow over the oven. He just drew shit all over. He would just get drunk and just do things. He drew a Greek Hitler, I think.
I've sort of turned this into like what a woman would do in the apartment. And what this woman is telling me to do is pay the electric bill.
One of our roommates had moved out, so we had an empty room, and it was up for rent. I hear some rustling in this empty room. He had brought up my old desk, which we'd put down outside the basement. He's sitting there behind the desk with no shirt, a fake mustache, a belt tied around his head, and a sign up saying the Alex Raoul Griffin Poetry Center. See the benefits of joining our poetry center? And sure enough, he had a very, scribbled down set of rules and guidelines, and he had some books he'd brought up, and he had a sign that said Raoul Acumba, because I guess when you wear a belt and a mustache, your name has to change to something like Raoul Acumba.
He had a bottle of vodka with him, really cheap vodka I might add, and started drinking and just hanging out and talking with me, which is always a fairly trippy experience, just hanging out and talking with Paul for a couple hours, especially while he's drinking an entire bottle of vodka in the process, and starts offering me shots out of it, except he kept calling it whiskey because he forgot he had a bottle of vodka.
So I ended up going to the hospital and whatnot. And when we returned from the hospital, though, Paul had set up in my bedroom, he had written a whole bunch of Greek chants and stuff, and he had made this whole beautiful display, this weird little vigil thing, wishing me well coming out of the hospital. But that's where way Paul is Paul can go from being very annoying, and whether he means to or not, and very in your face.
You know what? I think you should just take the shirts off and show your freedom. That's what I think, if you like freedom.
In the end, I believe most of his actions are at least based in good.